Alrighty, commissioners, thank you for your patience. We've got it now.
Are we on the air?
We are on the air.
All right, well then I'd like to call to order the Historic District Commission meeting for Monday, July 10th, 2023. If you would all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The Maryland Land Use article empowers Frostburg's Historic District Commission to implement the city's historic preservation overlay districts according to the regulations set forth in the Frostburg zoning ordinance. All meetings of this commission are open to the public and conducted in compliance with Maryland's Open Meetings Act. The Frostburg Historic District Commission is charged with the preservation of historic structures and the surroundings within the designated district in order to safeguard the heritage of the city, stabilize and improve property values, strengthen the local economy, and foster civic unity. Okay, roll call. I am the chair, Dawn Hine. Vice Chair, Joe Hoffman.
Present.
Bill Detterman is not with us this evening. Rob Raypan.
Present.
Maureen Brewer.
Here.
And our alternate, Daniel Filer, is not with us this evening. So commissioners, if you would please review the agenda for this evening, and when you are ready, if I can have a motion.
Motion to approve agenda. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the agenda is approved. And commissioners, if you would also look at the minutes from the previous meeting from June 12th, 2023. And when you are ready, if I could have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the minutes are approved. Okay, so that brings us to our first project presentation, 7 West Main Street for exterior lighting and commercial signage. Okay.
Welcome, Donnie.
So we would like to put some sign, or a sign up on the front of the building. It'll pretty much just be a vinyl sticker with some trim around it. And then some lighting installed above. It'll be similar to the lights that are on the Princess right now. If you're familiar with those, but we'll look at kind of target it right back towards the sign. Previous sign that was there with the Crestmont was already lit. So all the electrics right there. It's really easy to get to. Something really different. Got one back with it.
And there will be 4, is that
Yeah.
what's shown in the picture?
Yeah, it'll be, I think the whole sign, 17 feet, so you'll be 3.5 feet apart.
And then the others are just window decals.
They're already
Already there.
They're already
Yeah,
there.
they're there.
So we're just looking at the sign above and the lighting. Gotcha.
So who's gonna be the one?
Well, not graphics. We'll do the installation. Commercial graphics, everyone gets that. Custom concepts.
I had to get my head right there.
I was in commercial science and graphics today.
Did we have any public comment that we?
No, I solicited public comment as we always do, and none was received on any of the 3 proposals tonight.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, are there any further questions?
Ready for a motion?
Well, I'm just going to ask the other attendees here if there are any comments.
I studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case. I'm familiar with the property in question. I find the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is general compatibility with exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar in appearance to original materials or significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 4.1.J.1.C.
And second.
All right, having a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? All right. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed.
Hi, Joe.
Johnny, when is it going to go up?
Hopefully soon. Yeah, it usually doesn't take them too long to do it. Yeah. They won't take us a day or two to figure it out. All right, thanks.
See, then I'll call you tomorrow for your.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. All right, our second project this evening is 32 Frost Avenue fence installation. Welcome. So if you would just tell us about your project, and your name too.
Yeah, so I'm Katie Burchett. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just purchased the house a little over a month ago, and so went to fence a new yard for my dog. And so it's going to be most of the property fenced in with aluminum fencing of the style in that picture along the front, including the walking gate in the front. Black painted chain link, or whatever exactly the process is, the black chain link along the sides and the back, giving a little bit of room for, along the back alley and the neighbors where there's some wooden fencing on the side there. Yeah, and then connecting up to the garage, and then extending from the neighbor's garage back up to the front.
And how high is the chain link and
They
the
should be the
They'll be
same
the
height.
same
Yeah,
height.
It should be 4 feet.
4 feet high?
So a lot of fencing.
Yep.
You're not doing it yourself, right?
No, Overland Fence Company. Will be doing
Look how close to the sidewalk.
it. So it'll be a couple of feet back from the sidewalk.
Is there an ordinance, Bethany, about the offset from the sidewalk?
There are no setbacks for fencing. We permit folks to place fencing right on the property line. We don't advise it because of, snow plows, things like that. But if someone wanted to, they could put it right on the property line.
Okay, thank you. All right, Commissioners, any other questions?
So the whole fence would be like that black
Just the front part.
in the front.
Yeah, so that would be along the front, and then chain link, painted chain link along the sides and back.
So the front is on frost,
Yes, so the front is on frost, yeah.
We've had several other fences that were installed in the same manner, with decorative on the front and painted around.
Yeah, and that's
So it
a
saves a lot of money.
yeah, yes, for sure.
All right. Any public comment from our other attendees? All right. Commissioners, if there aren't any other further questions, can I have a motion?
Motion. I've studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case, and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is general compatibility of exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar to appearance to original materials for significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 4.1, 1J, 1, 1C.
I'll second.
All right, having a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You are approved. Thank you very much. You're
Enjoy your
welcome.
project.
Yeah, will do.
Good one.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Did you just move?
No, I've been renting across for the past few years, just moving to this clubhouse.
Very nice house.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm sure my dog is gonna be very happy when he gets to.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
yes. Good luck, very much, thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow.
All right, that brings us to our third project, 78 Frost Avenue roof replacement. Hello.
Welcome back.
All right. So, I was not at the last meeting, but I understand, the commissioners had some additional questions from the presentation at the last meeting. And so some of what is in here are some of the renderings that were asked for in the previous meeting.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, we are looking at the rendering here, a sample of the actual roofing. Right, I think that is the rendering of what it would look like from the front and the back, right?
Those are both from the back.
They're both from the back.
Yes, the roofing material is not easily visible from the front due to several mature trees because of this.
So we're just looking at what, I see what you're saying.
There isn't much visible.
So, commissioners, do these images here help with some of the questions from the last meeting?
Yeah, that's quite helpful. Thank you for providing the information.
So the garage, I believe this is the garage in the back, that will be, have the same roof as well. All right. Commissioners, are there any questions that you have?
So my other question is, so this color is darker than what you plan on, or is it, so is it lighter? I think that when you said that this color is a little different than.
So, let me just point
There
out.
is a picture of the actual example piece here.
Yes,
So it's like a cream color, it's not like a paper white.
I mean, it's pretty white. So what I would like to bring your attention to, the rendering on page 21 of your packet, that more accurately depicts the shape of the roof.
Okay.
The color is a little bit more on the cream side than what the actual will be. And then if you flip over to page 22, on the opposite side of that, the shape of the roof line, I have trouble just being able to photo. The color is more accurate to what it will actually look like. And then page 23, that is a photo of the sample of the actual roofing material. And then one more thing I'll draw your attention to, on page 28, that is the actual color. And then you'll see on page 33, I know our printer doesn't do the greatest job, but page 33 shows the color matching that demonstrates that that color is very closely in appearance to the historic palette from Sherwin-Williams.
Okay.
Sorry, I know I went through that a little fast.
If there, and we already said there was no public comments, so if there aren't any other further questions, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll study the application and all relevant documents and presentation relevant to the case. I'm familiar with the property in question. I found the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because of its general compatibility with exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar in appearance to original materials or significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 4.1 and J, 1 and C.
Any other questions or comments? Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. All right, hearing none opposed, and the project is approved. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're at old business. I don't think there's none listed here, I don't know if we have any. And then new business.
Yes.
So first is staff report for administrative approvals.
Okay. At 26 South Broadway, that is owned by Mark and Kathy Shoup. You all approved the rear yard fencing probably about a year and a half ago. The front columns on that property are currently made of wood. They have significantly rotted. Unfortunately, they don't make wood columns that are like that. However, the Shoups did find an identical kind of a fiberglass material column, and it's completely identical. I've seen it in person. It is identical to what's there. So I felt comfortable issuing an administrative approval for an in-kind repair on that project.
So this is on the front porch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they are decorative. They're not structural. So all the more reason that I felt comfortable issuing an administrative approval.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's such a hard contact, because I knew this kind of wrap around the
Mm-hmm.
pole.
Yeah.
Well, some wood room sections too,
Mm-hmm.
but the plastic ones. Yeah, and look.
All right, we have.
I've always liked that house, really nice house.
26 Broadway, yeah.
The ex-president of Prosper State University actually is one was school number 2 at that point in time with it. So it's historic and that is.
Nice. Community development staffing update.
Yes, so if you all haven't seen, I was appointed as the Director of Community Development as of June 20th.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. It was a long time coming, I think, but, so now the next order of business is to hire a planning and zoning specialist. We are currently advertising for that. We're accepting applications until 1 week from today, July 17th. At that point, it's kind of up in the air whether that person will take over this particular commission. I'm not sure, I know that they will be taking over the planning commission and the board of zoning appeals. But it hasn't been determined whether I will remain the staff support for this commission or whether the new person will step into this role after, of course, a training period. But I just wanted to give you all that update, so that maybe coming down the pike and I'll keep you updated as soon as I can. Thank you.
We hope you stay here.
Well,
Be careful what you're.
we'll see what happens.
Just saying.
Okay. Brainstorming outreach to property owners in the historic district.
So, now that I've been staff support for this commission for a while, I see I've been noticing that we have a lot of after the fact reviews. And there has been a lot of turnover within the historic district recently. I mean, I'm sending out welcome to the historic district note cards at least once a week. And it's usually a batch of them, not just one at a time. And while we do that outreach whenever a property changes hands, I thought it might be a good idea to kind of look at some kind of outreach that we could do, whether that be a mass mailing to every property in the district. And I was just kind of hoping you all might be able to help me think of some initiatives. I know that putting something in the water bill has come up before.
We used to do that.
Yeah, it's just the space that we have on the water bill just keeps getting
No, it was
smaller.
actually a separate
insert.
bar. It was actually an insert
Okay.
for the store. You remember those?
Yes.
They went out and made water bills, and you only put it on ones that are separate in the store.
Okay. Okay, well,
That's up for the,
yeah, right. Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea if you did a map of the historic district, because
Which we have.
I'll bet 9.5 out of 10 people in town don't know where it is, and I couldn't define the boundaries.
Well, I think how you do that is you remind the people that are living in the historic district, like, congratulations, you live in the historic, like, really make it like an
Yeah.
exciting and that,
Mhm.
this
I'm
is a
thinking
cool
if you-
neighborhood to be in.
If you
you know?
put it in the water bill, everybody would get it.
Yeah.
No, but you could designate streets when you do a minimum. You can separate that when you run.
I would love to have some volunteers to
Who
help
would
with
do
that.
that? I think it'd be
All you
better.
have to do is in your filter, just say, you're gonna take out these streets, and everything in the street, they're a different file, and you mail that there, and everything else is
I'd prefer everybody to get one, just because I think people don't know about what it is, they don't pay attention to it.
That is a good point.
And, and one of the benefits of being on this commission is I know a lot about what's going on because I'm on the commission.
Yeah.
And I don't think the majority of people, not that they don't care, but they just,
Well,
We
they don't
could
take the
invite
time.
them to come to one of the, we could put the meeting time and
Well,
day, invite
to
them
be
to
able
come,
to-
or join us on Facebook Live,
Yeah.
But I think
So,
that would help to prevent what happens unfortunately too often, and that is where someone makes changes in a house that is within the historic district, and if it's not coming to the historic district commission until afterwards. Sometimes the changes.
Right, that's what.
or it's hard to undo what has already been done, right?
You could put what you read in the beginning of those first two paragraphs.
the purpose. So, the water goes there, they go out quarterly, right?
Yes.
You know, I don't know. these people.
I know.
So we could set up like a schedule and have like something different like each quarter.
Mhm.
And maybe we could do one in like a co-branded one with the A&E district and one with the historic district, and kind of highlight how intertwined those are and how we should be excited for those two things. And then what to do if you're in, like your responsibility. Wouldn't be kind of like HOA encourages the historic district, so. And then you could do like, I think we should bring back project of the year.
Yeah,
And that could be a mailer and submissions, we could ask for submissions and
Yes,
make like a social media thing out of it,
nominations
right?
for,
We can make a whole social media campaign out of it.
Yeah, that
That's
was
a
a
great
good,
That was fun,
kind of thing that
It
helped
was.
focus on the circus.
Right.
yes.
right.
And I think
For, I
we-
think, 3 years.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then.
And
that
COVID
messed
hit,
us up.
and
So I was wondering,
Preservation Month is May.
right.
So
we could
if
give you
we
awards
could,
online.
do the award in May, during Preservation Month, so we could just prep before that to get the nominations.
Because the last time we did it, the awards were on July 4th, during 30th.
Yes, we did do that.
Yeah.
We did do that one year.
Well, I was thinking, this kind of, because we've been talking about bringing back project of the year and really doing
Right.
something purposeful for Preservation Month. So I thought that maybe by starting the outreach now and, rebuilding that relationship between, the commission and the district and sort of helping people understand that might be a good way to generate more excitement when Preservation Month comes around. Rather than just saying, okay, it's Preservation Month, let's do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I thought that this was a good time of year to be starting this. We're about 10 months out, so that's plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to start the conversation, and then, perhaps we can just sort of talk a little bit at each meeting in the future, about how we want to prepare for Preservation Month. That way that, the staff has plenty of time to put things together. And that way that we're creating the kind of messaging that you all want to see.
We still live.
We are so
Does anyone have anything else, any other comments related to that? And as Bethany said, we can, yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, do we have emails for everyone? Like, do you guys at the city collect emails?
We do
Emails?
not, we don't have
We should
email
begin.
lists.
Because it'd be great to send out an email, like quarterly, you could do the water bills, and then like on those off months, you could, maybe it's an article about something historic.
Yeah.
Maybe we could partner with the museum, and we could send something out, and we could partner with the museum maybe for the social media campaign, just to put out some posts.
Or with Frostburg First.
Right.
Or the commercial part of the district.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, because I was thinking like for the last quarter, to have kind of like a gratitude one, this time you can't say it.
Yeah.
We could just talk about like,
The other thing we can do is.
the partners that help with this, like the garden club helps, and you want,
Right.
also first, and it's,
That's a good one.
Occasionally, we could have something in the First newsletter that goes out.
oh, that's a great idea.
Like spotlight on.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm
sure
highlighted,
we'll be able to do
maybe that's something that could be done with some of the other city agencies.
Great.
The great idea about communicating that sort of information is it really helps develop a stronger community culture.
Yeah. And we launched our new website, not this past January, but the one before. And as part of that, we really beefed up the historic district section. On our old website, it was pretty much, we had a page that listed our commissioners and then all of the preservation information was just kind of tacked onto the bottom because we just didn't have the functionality to split it out. But now we do, and I've been trying to beef that up. So if you all have any ideas of additional resources that I could put on there, I'm all ears.
Do you have statistics on how often individual parts of the city website are visited? You ought to have
I
it.
probably could get it, I honestly don't dive in. I'm the administrator, so I'm sure I have access to that information. I just haven't dug into it.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if, for example, it's not getting much traffic,
Mhm.
it wouldn't do us much good to put information out there.
But is it the reason it's not getting traffic is because there's not enough information?
That's true.
And that might be a reason why nobody's looking at it.
I was thinking on the water bill, maybe the first time that we did it, instead of doing the insert, we could just use that little block and say,
Right.
learn more about Frostburg's Historic District, and then just put the link. So everyone in town has the link, and then
Right.
we can do more targeted inserts in subsequent.
Do you have a QR code though for that site?
I don't have
Because it'd
any
be
one.
Yeah, that
really
would be
nice to just
easy.
put the QR code right on there,
Yeah.
along with the obviously.
When you put that link up, to be able to put then the link to live commission meeting.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Mhm.
Oh, we could brainstorm forever.
Yeah, I know.
Well, this is good, though. I wanted to kind of get the wheels turning, and then we can keep discussing next month and months after that.
Excellent.
I wonder how many people actually follow the City of Frostburg website? Because I follow it, and I get
I
updates
think
just
that's a
because I follow
different
it.
question. Like if
Well, if
you
you
follow it, you may not, like, I don't even get anything anymore, I have to search myself. to get all the
get, if
information.
you follow, you should get everything that city, I get all the
But I
updates and
don't.
stuff. Well, that's what I'm saying, if we get more people to follow the city website, they'll get updates on
Well, what I'm
Including
saying
us.
is, just because you follow doesn't mean that you're active. Like if you have 7,500 followers, you probably don't have 2,000 active.
But it's a good website and to be able to look at the agendas and what's going on.
Right.
I'm just, with the fact that you called me today, I was looking at the agenda in the city council.
So are you all talking about the public meeting portal, because that's a whole separate,
it. Maybe I'm talking
I'm
about
looking at the
Facebook.
public meeting
okay,
section.
okay. And, because I was trying to figure out how you were following the website, but I know. on the
Yeah,
public
that's
meeting-
what I was.
Yeah, but on the public meeting portal, we have a video that we circulate that is step-by-step how to subscribe to the different boards and commissions. So it's probably due for another circulation, it hasn't been kind of put out there in a while. But it lives on our YouTube channel all the time, so whenever people say, how can I find out what's going on? We send them that video, and it's just step-by-step how to subscribe.
Okay.
You know.
All right, rubric discussion update on exterior lighting installations.
Yes, so, Donnie's presentation today, it reminded me, we don't have anything in our rubric that addresses exterior light installations at all. So I wasn't sure how you all, we specifically exclude lighting from certain eligible, or eligible for administrative approval projects. But, we don't have a separate item that addresses lighting. So I just wanted,
We do in the guidelines.
okay.
Yeah.
They did, because I remember we
Because,
used them for business and road.
right, because originally I thought it was for backlighting. looking at
Yes,
backlighting,
because
not lighting.
backlighting is
But
discouraged.
Crestmont originally was backlit.
Correct.
Right,
Yes.
and I think that's.
And because I thought we talked about the gooseneck, like what Donnie's using here as being historically appropriate
Right.
option.
And
than you
now
are
it's
doing.
right, and it's great since the princess has it.
Right, exactly, right, yes.
But that's why I kind of brought this, because of the letter, and we have it here about,
Yeah.
you know, backlights.
Right.
But it's not in the rubric, you know.
It's not in the rubric.
But it is in
so-
our guidelines, so I don't know how to.
Okay,
So can we?
I'm sorry, can you point out to me where in the guidelines that is?
It's under commercial,
Okay, I see.
and storefronts, it says, it's on page 2, under not recommended backlighting of signs.
Okay, I see. So whenever someone comes with a proposal for something like Donnie has, a light fixture that is not backlit.
Right.
So would you, I guess what I'm asking is, I'm just trying to think of how to word it. So backlit signs, if someone wanted to propose that, that would require a full review. Correct?
Right, because generally that would not be appropriate,
Right.
for the district.
Or, I mean, I'm thinking of non-commercial buildings, someone wants to replace their porch light with something different. Is that something that you all want to review, or is that eligible for staff approval? Do you not even want to bother with residential exterior lighting? I mean, we could do any number of ways.
I'd be interested to see what any other communities have as far as
Yeah, that's a
guidelines
guideline
and question.
Okay.
Just why read it?
And I would think if it's an original fixture, that might be a different situation than if it had been replaced, somewhere down the line. Because I think our goal would just be to keep the integrity of, the style of the building.
And now that solar lighting is becoming so cheap and very common, it's one of those things I think we probably want to consider what is appropriate for the historic district.
So are we feeling just full review across the board?
I think,
Would you like me to do a little bit more research about what
Yeah,
other historic
yeah,
districts do? We can
because if that's
continue.
their only part of their project, then, unless it's something obvious that you think, this might be an issue, then maybe have it, come to us. But, if it's part of a larger project, we could talk about it in that full context.
If you have, Bethany, if you have some source that you can go to that provides information about what other historic districts, commissions are doing with respect to that kind of lighting, that would be helpful for us to consider.
Yeah, Cumberland may have something that we could look at. See what they do.
Sure. All right, well, I will do some research between now and the next meeting, and I'll report back.
Sounds good. I had given you an update of my discussion with, the artist on the painting. Do we need to talk further about that project, or?
Do any commissioners?
Are they going to paint the things that are white red?
I do not know that. I just talked to the artist, and he had been in touch with the owner. And at some point, it wasn't a specific date yet. The artist was going to come back and paint additional birds, I guess, over.
I still think it is a paint red.
That was the
I do have a meeting at 11 a.m. with property owners tomorrow, so I can add that I've got a punch list of things to talk about, so I'll
Sure.
That would be the easy way around. Then you wouldn't have to worry about getting the artists to go up for birds, because they're only about that wide. They'd be lost on that. But as long as they stay white, it
No.
looks awful.
I think it is visually disrupting.
I mean, it would look better without the
Yeah,
art.
it would have been better, it would have been local, well, not, if you didn't have the artwork there, those things would stand out as much.
It's still-
But, well, at least before it was a white gray. I know it's some white on, but on medium gray.
Mhm.
Which is always stands out,
Sounds good. All right, commissioners, are there any other items?
I had one more thing,
Yes.
the issue of the fence on Frost Avenue. I was gonna bring that up, but when you said there weren't any requirements on how we could put away the property line. If you go up Frost Avenue, look how, especially the lower end, look how few fences there are, number one. There's one chain link fence, now it basically is chain link and it's rusted and old, and it sits right close to the property line on the right as you're going up, and that looks awful. The other ones that are there are ornate, and they're not even 4 feet tall.
Right.
So they're decorative,
Yeah,
and I thought, that's a wide open space between those three houses. That's gonna really change the way those other two houses look too. Even with the black, so if there aren't any standards, we just approved it, anybody can do that. I would think we ought to maybe consider that in the historic district. Fencing for the front, sides and the back, I don't think that's gonna be an issue, because that's more, front's more public property in a way.
We used that argument on some houses in the past,
We did on Signage.
that the front needed to be of a historic nature, but we will not require it to be continued then for the rest of the yard.
I was even gonna suggest with hers, she could have put the fence right at the property, run from the property line out, that black fence, and then not have that whole front section open. That way the dog would have, the whole backyard, but it's a huge backyard. That way she wouldn't have to get a gate in there.
well, I know we had talked about it, where am I at? I don't know, on Water Street.
Back there.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
on
right, right beside it.
Water Street, yes. So at one point,
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one out.
that it never happened.
It was supposed to be 6 feet.
Well, yes, there was some discussion of, because I think that was the only yard
Right.
that the house had. And so I think there were some extenuating circumstances as well with that particular situation.
No longer it's horrible, for sure.
Well, no, yes. That was
the
part of
big
it.
objection.
That was part of it.
I just thought maybe we ought, if that would be in our purview to have for the historic district commission, to have standards on that in the historic.
Well, we
If it's
do.
not,
In the guidelines, it says, it's not recommended as chain link.
Yeah.
You know that?
Right, I think he's
I
saying
mean, even has
the
how close to
location
the
of
property.
it,
Oh.
not the type, but the location of where.
So I think that if you want me to pursue this, we would be looking at a text amendment to, I don't know the section off the top of my head, I think it's like 6.3 of the zoning ordinance that deals with fences, walls, and hedges. And then I think that the best way to go about that would be to say something like, if a property is located within a historic district, any new fencing must be installed X number of feet off of or setback X number of.
But then when you say that, so what if your neighbor's is right up on the sidewalk? You know, something back there? I mean, historically, they were all on the sidewalk.
Mhm.
And they're all metal.
They were all brought on there, yeah.
And now there's one there that sits back, it's a wooden fence on the right hand side. That doesn't look great, but it's at least it's not right on the street. It looked odd to me. The ones that weren't, some of them had hedge and fence. There were no fences at all, or there were the little metal ornamental ones that were low. And they were right close to the sidewalk.
That's probably why.
And so were the houses too, actually. Those houses are closer. That one sits back a little bit. In fact, it sits back pretty far. Oh, just my thought. Because that's what worried me when I first saw that. But
No, I
a metal
can see your concern.
black fence right there, and I said, I didn't remember seeing any there. So I went up last week.
There are fences like that within the historic district.
Mhm.
They may not be in cross, but they are within the district.
Yeah, and Cross is kind of a special area because it is truly a historic area that has a lot of similarities as you go up and down the street,
I was
including bricks on this.
I was hoping Bill was gonna be here because he lives on that street, so I thought he would have. Or Johnny actually lives almost right across the street. But, that's it for me.
Maybe we should look next time we meet at the guidelines for fencing and see if we want to consider some alterations.
Because it comes up frequently, and I'm sure that we have, we're kind of consistent with normally other people put fences. It's just what kind, maybe. But I mean, even that we should say preferably whatever.
Certain setback for.
Or if you said not changing. That doesn't go.
I think that
However, the guidelines, it says you can do it in the side or the back.
that,
Yeah.
But I read it depends on the side. In some sides, you can see if you can do it.
Right.
Front.
yes.
So that's kind of what I think that's tough.
And I think, I think it talks about like, so like if your house was on a corner, I think one of the main faces would also be considered, yeah, the front and then whatever the side is where you're at the corner. I think both of those would be considered main elevations where the no chain link would apply.
And that was that Bell's Lane house that we did.
It
It was
was.
on the corner,
Yes,
that whole stretch.
right.
And he did it, he didn't have a problem with it.
We
Yes.
did, because I think I made the motion that he could use the chain link the whole way around except for.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and he wanted that fence for the same reason the young lady did, to contain it all. And
But didn't he go up higher on a certain
He did.
portion of it?
He was 6 feet.
I think
it
it
was
went
6
up
feet.
at a certain point at one property height.
But people are gonna have different reasons for installing fences on the property. For example, there's a pesky deer or a pesky bronco.
And
You might need a fence of a certain
I
type.
have a fence that keeps him in.
Yeah.
He likes it.
Do you all happen to remember when our guidelines were drafted? Does this have a date on
It don't have a date on it.
Been quite a while,
I was looking
a
at it.
number of
I
years.
thought it was when you guys were making the rubric and you did this thing first and you took this and
Yes.
turned it into a rubric, but it was like a
Right.
6-month process. And we might have been in the old too.
it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that would have been
Oh,
well
yes.
before.
They thought it,
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, maybe in the next couple of meetings, we can just kind of work through this
So we
and
can go through the whole document.
it might be time for a refresher.
Yeah. And see where we may need to do some updates and figure out the whole thing.
Yeah.
In actuality, maybe we should go a little deeper than that and look at it as having some planning sessions over some time where we even, if we don't have the opportunity to bring consultant. We have some information that we can look at that will give us some ideas about how we might want to change what we already have.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking? Strategic planning session. I mean, really, I mean, I think that's, yeah, I don't think we've done that, and now with all the changes in your department, maybe it's time to kind of do that.
Yeah, I think it would be a great time to do it, and we're also about to enter our comprehensive plan rewrite. So, what's that?
Fun times.
Yeah, tell me about it. Jumping out of my skin for that one. But that will involve a lot of text amendments as well, so the timing of all of this is really ideal, so.
If there is nothing else, did you have something?
Actually, right here on the cover, it says updated September 2021, so those will probably be.
Oh, are you talking about the binders?
Yeah.
Well, the binders were,
We're creating.
Yeah.
yeah, so using old documents.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so, yeah. I think I remember putting some of those together in Andrews, so,
No.
yeah.
Okay, so they're very old.
We're talking, yeah, a number of.
So let's say Israel.
No, it's been a while since she's been on the board. yes.
Well, I mean, just judging off of the quality of our digital files, it kind of hints at the age of the document.
Yeah,
That was like Windows 97.
Yeah.
It was on a floppy disk.
Yeah.
That's pretty old. Oh, my. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, we are adjourned.
And I just wanted to say,
We are-
I'm pleased,
Just let me turn off the lights.
Turn that off.
Super quick.
Thank you all.
Thank you.